what's up soldiers, my name is GregFPS, the zombies extraordinaire, and today we have a video, if Origins was remastered. Now, a lot of different commentary channels do things where they take a look at aspects and then basically summarize whatever they're going to be talking about. So I decided I wanted to do this series, but instead of doing it on a commentary topic like, I don't know, extreme feminists or something, I'm going to be talking about zombies, and we're going to be taking a look, like I said in the title, of Origins. Now, Origins has the possibility to be in DLC 5 or whatever DLC Treyarch is thinking. Do I think it's going to happen? Yes. Is it confirmed? Absolutely not. So please take it with a grain of salt. But basically, I'm going to break Origins down into 5 basic categories. The categories are map design, Easter egg, weapons, storyline effects, as well as if changes took place and Treyarch implemented new things. So basically we're going to be taking a look at each of those sections, and I'm going to be breaking it down, giving my thoughts and my ideas. So I really hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you do, be sure to drop it a like. Let's try to get 100 likes on this video. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Overall, Origins has one of the best map designs ever when it comes to Call of Duty Zombies. Probably the second biggest map in Treyarch's tremendous map layout. I think that this map truly felt right. Now, it was back in World War I. Around the map you have this whole array of aesthetics that feature, Zeppelins. There's planes flying all around in gunfights. There are just tremendous amounts of fog and dynamic weather. You have rain, you have snow, you have fog, more fog rolling in. And there's just so much stuff about this map. You have the huge 1,000-foot robots that walk and step on certain areas, and if you get squished by them, you die unless you have the golden helmet, which can be acquired eventually. Now, the really cool thing about this map is that the design of this map was truly great, and that's why the map design is a must for any DLC 5. I think that the main improvements that they can make as far as map design goes is pretty much nothing. They can only retexture things because the design of the map is truly phenomenal. I think that just enhancing graphics and making the graphics a little bit better would be a lot more interesting, and it would add a little bit more vibrance to the map, because in Black Ops 3, there was a huge jump in graphical improvements. Now, back in 2013 when this map was released, it looked phenomenal for its time. It was one of the best looking games at that point, and it was the coolest thing because we got to see the characters in a new format. They were a little bit different. They added a whole new set. The characters looked different than what we had experienced in Black Ops 1, and as long as they stick to this and the main map design for this map, I think that it would be a great fit to be brought into Black Ops 3. Just add a little bit more details to the map, make the overall textures look much better, and maybe buff them a little bit from like a 720 to a 1080 60, and just make the graphics a little bit better. Now, as far as Easter eggs go, Easter eggs are a main thing for any zombies map. But the Easter egg in Origins is by far one of the best, if not the best, Easter eggs ever. Now, we didn't really know too much in the origins of the storyline. We knew that we were basically trying to save Samantha, who was, stuck somewhere, and she doesn't know how to get home. And at that point, we know that Maxis actually didn't know that he had a daughter named Samantha. Now, another interesting thing about this, whole entire Easter egg is the Verkuda steps, which was really cool. We had to, the first thing we need to do is upgrade all the staffs. Then you have to place the staffs in the robots, and they were basically the keys, and you had to secure the keys. Now, once you did this, you had to raise hell, and you had to, kill all the panzers that came. And then after that step, then you had to shoot down you had to skewer the winged beast, which was a plane that you had to shoot down, and then you had to kill a zombie that was running around with the Maxis drone in zombie blood mode. And once you did that, then you had to upgrade your punches by going down and doing that. And once you did that, then you would place all 4 staffs upgraded in the crazy place. You'd have to get a bunch of kills, open up the Aurora Borealis, release Maxis, and boom, that is the Easter egg. Do I think it needs any changes? Absolutely not. I think that this is perfect when it comes to an example of a great Easter egg. Now, yes, a few things are really tedious, like for example, upgrading all the staffs can be very, very tedious and very frustrating, but at the same time, I feel like at this point, as long as they kept everything the same and maybe changed some things where staffs can't glitch out as easily as they do on Xbox or PS3 or PC for that matter, I think that the Easter egg would be a great fit for Black Ops 3. It will give people the experience to be able to play one of the best Easter eggs, which in my opinion are better than any of the Easter eggs in Black Ops 3. Now, you guys might be saying, you know, Horizon Drac has a really good Easter egg. I personally believe that Origins is better than Horizon Drac. Now, that is my personal opinion. If you disagree with me, that's totally fine. But at the same time, I think that the Easter egg would be a great fit for Black Ops 3, and I think that they should just port it over. Next, we're going to be talking about weapons. Now, as far as weapons go, it added a few different weapons that we hadn't seen before or we've seen in previous maps in Call of Duty Zombies. Now, the main thing that stuck out to me as far as Origins goes were the wall buys. Now, one of the wall buys was the MP40, and the other wall buy that really stuck out to me was that we had the STG-44. Now, this STG was a lot more buff or stronger. It just feels like a more beefy gun than it did back in World at War. And I think that is, as long as they port this over and they keep those guns there, that would be absolutely sick. Now, another thing about this map is you start off with the Mauser, and when you upgrade it, it became the Boomhilda, which in my personal opinion is my favorite starting weapon ever. I like it a lot more than the M19 or M1911, and I think that although that might be kind of controversial, I mean, the Boomhilda is phenomenal. It's one of the best weapons ever. It's basically like the, you know, gun on the ray gun Mark IIIs, but on the right hand side that just is a, you know, point blaster. I think that the Boomhilda is so cool, and it's one of the best weapons. So if they were able to bring those things over, I mean, there's other things that can be in the box as well. The MG08 was something different. The Scorpion was something different. The Scar H was something different. There was so many unique things. Also, the KSG was also on this map. So we got to taste some new weapons, and I feel like if they poured this over, and most likely they would include Black Ops 3 weapons within the box, and this might add a little bit of controversy to DLC 5 if they were to do this, but I would truly expect that to happen. But as long as they keep the STG on the wall and the MP40 on the wall and keep the Mauser as the starting pistol, I would be completely fine with that, and I think that the weapons would add a great dimension to this map and make it awesome. Now, as far as the storyline goes for Origins, this is the map that is the beginning of basically the cycle. Now, basically, we go in Black Ops 3 from Origins all the way to Revelations, and through that entire storyline, we are fleshing out each of the characters, killing the 1.0 characters in quotation marks, and basically collecting the souls. And I'm saying basically a lot, I'm sorry. And once we collect all the souls, then eventually they are all children inside of the house, and they are well protected and all that stuff. Now, the thing about this was Monty was added in and kind of messed up the story a little bit, and it made it a little bit more interesting. As far as the storyline effects go though, I think that because Origins is the first map, it would make so much sense to include it in Black Ops 3. Now, this is not me saying why I think Origins is going to be in DLC 5 or whatever DLC that is going to be implemented, but I do believe that Origins kind of does fit there just because it was the first map in the storyline. It would make perfect, theoretical common sense, I guess, to include it in the map, and I think that they definitely should. So as far as the storyline effects, it's the start of the storyline, it's where the characters meet, so it would make perfect sense for this to happen. This is the most interesting one for me, if changes took place. Now, in Black Ops 3, they introduced the whole Cthulhu mythos, and we had the mural of the Great War on Shadows of Evil on the walls, and this really added a whole new aspect to Call of Duty Zombies because this Great War had happened. Now, we learned at the end of Revelations that the Origins characters basically made a full loop, and they went right back after being placed by Dr. Monty at the end of Revelations to be the Primus characters. Now, Primus takes place in a completely different time than it did in World War I, which is the setting of Origins. Now, a really cool thing as a change that could take place is what if we ended up going to this time of Primus and instead they refitted Origins and made it completely different, but set in an older time. Now, this would be really cool. I mean, we already know that the mystery box is going to carry weapons from a previous time, so this is definitely doable. Now, as far as the map goes, I think that they would have to add and continue to have the MP40 and the STG on the walls like we already talked about as far as weapons go. But another really cool thing about this map is we know that Samantha says, "My father made copies of the staffs." Now, the interesting thing about this, and something that it could be interesting or interpreted in a different way, is what if Maxis had already made those staffs and then he made copies of the staffs that he already created? That is definitely a possibility because we know that Maxis created many wonder weapons. Now, another thing is, what if the original staffs were not created by Maxis and we got to use the original 1.0 staffs? Now, we see the crew when Revelations is over at the end of the Easter egg where they stood upon the mount and their light shone down for all to see. Now, basically, they had already defeated the Apothegons, and we were set up perfectly for an ending, in my opinion. Now, what if we spawned into Origins, we had the staffs, and we had to do a completely different Easter egg type thing, but on the same map layout that was a little bit changed and had a different time period? Now, this is very interesting because we know a lot, and we learned a lot in just to Rise and Drac about Pablo Marianas. He was believed to be one of the people or a test subject that was really interesting because he had the black sun on his, I believe it was his spleen. And we also learned that in Call of the Dead, in the original storyline, that he was just a test subject that Richtofen killed. And that was never there before, so they did change that up a little bit. And we also learned that Dreisendrach was supposed to be the building place where a castle was supposed to be built. Now, if they went along with this and changed the time period, I think that would be a really cool thing, and that would be, for me, the really cool changes that could take place. Okay guys, this has been my thoughts on if Origins was remastered. Now basically it was just me talking about Origins and giving my opinions on a few different aspects that could be looked at if this map was remastered and brought into DLC 5. I want to know your thoughts. Would you enjoy playing this map if, some of the things I mentioned were different? Would you enjoy this map if there were a new possible Easter egg? Now, I personally believe that this map is pretty much perfection when it comes to the best Treyarch can do. Now, obviously, they have made some other phenomenal maps, and it might not be your favorite. It's not my favorite. My favorite is Mob of the Dead. But I still think that this map truly encompasses the greatest moments I've ever had playing zombies. So let me know your thoughts, guys. My name is GregFPS. Hope you enjoyed the video, and this was If Origins Was Remastered. ... I'll see you guys later. Peace out.